Wow, that took significantly longer than I thought it was going to. But you can see Project Red Star is almost in its final home state. So what I am going to do in this series is discuss water cooling on an open loop system, the monoblocks and the GPU blocks I'm going to use, cabling, LEDs, and all of the other fun bits that's going to really finish out Project Red Star here, and then I'll get into the benchmarks. I am TheGrayingTech, the gaming insider. If you would like to learn how to improve your gaming performance, start now by clicking that subscribe button. It is scientifically proven that red makes your computer go faster. There's plenty of documentation out there that validates that claim. And if you are looking to get even more red in your setup, there's no better way than RGB. You don't really need the G or the B. Just stick with the R because it makes it go faster. This video, I'm going to talk about adding RGBs, Project Red Star, and dialing in exactly what you need to do with all of these weird connectors so that you can get a setup that will actually allow you to change the colors to whatever you really want. So starting off, I want to talk about the Lian Unifan connectors. An amazing, great idea by Lian to make sure that all of these fans can be connected together 4 at a time and run a single connector to this little box right here. This box is what makes all of the magic actually happen with the Unifan. So when it comes to these Lian, you're going to see several different connectors here in the actual package itself. What do you do with all of these? Well, first, all of it needs power. So this right here is a standard SATA connector with a 4-pin on the other side. And this simply plugs into the box like so, and that actually gives you power to the unit so that you are able to power the fans and the LEDs from that single SATA connection. Next, you need to communicate with this box, and that is where a standard USB 2.0 header and cable come into play. This is exactly what you need in order to make sure that this device is recognized by the L-Connect software. Again, this is simply plugging into one side, and then you will need to find an open USB 2.0 header on your motherboard to install the other side of the connector. Last, and absolutely, positively, certainly not least, is the ARGB header connector. This connector has a 4-pin on one side, but you'll note they only really use one. And on the other side, there are 4 spaces for wires, but one of them is completely blocked out. Why is that? There's actually 2 standards for RGB. There's a 12 volt and a 5 volt. If you plug in a 5 volt device into a 12 volt header, goodbye LEDs. Instead, you want the 5 volt variety because that's exactly what this box is. That gives you more color spectrum, more things to actually play with. So you will need to find a header on your motherboard for that 5 volt ARGB connector. And then again, you connect this into the back side of the box. Well, once everything is connected, once everything is powered up, you're going to take the Unifan connector, plug it into the side of the fan, and then run these cables. And I did ding Lian on this because there's 2 cables when they could have just wrapped it all in one nice little combined package. You're going to take both of these and simply plug it into the side of the box itself. This box itself will support up to 4 fan connectors at a given time. This gives you 16 possible connections that you can run from one single box. Also, a fun note, they're magnetic. So if you need to, you can just simply magnetically stick it to the back of a part of the case, and then you don't even have to worry about sticky tape. Now that we have the basics out of the way, I want to talk about extenders. You see, there's a lot of these kind of things on the market. Now, this one is a complete knockoff. I simply got it because it said Republic of Gamers. Now, these are a little bit controversial. Some people say if you get a poor quality one, you can blow out your header. yeah, that's absolutely something that could happen if for some reason these get a short or don't have a good quality circuitry done basically to them. But for the most part, these are relatively basic constructions, not really too much going in. You can see this one has a SATA connector. You plug in this to a SATA header. That gives you power for all of these connectors. And then this one down here is your output. So this is going to go to that RGB header on the motherboard itself. Now here's the drawback with something like this, or something like one of these Y cables like this. Everything you connect to this is going to act the same exact way. These are simply signal dividers. You aren't adding additional capabilities, adding what we call at my company zones, so that you can manipulate the different zones. No, your zone is directly connected to the header itself. You need something like the Lian Unifan that has a dedicated controller if you want to control things individually. And I have searched on the market and searched for a universal one of those, and I've not come across one that actually is worthwhile. They all kind of work just like these little boxes. So just get a little box like this if you want more LEDs in your case. Lastly, I want to talk about the streamer kit from Lian as well. This is the Streamer Plus kit. This right here is the 24-pin replacement. Now I want to note, these are extenders. These will not reach all the way to your power supply, nor are they designed to connect directly into the power supply. These are designed to have a cable connected into this end and then the actual motherboard down here. Now I've looked, the wiring in these appears to be 18 gauge, which means it's going to have good current capability and it's going to meet or exceed a lot of the wiring standards that are out there. You can see there's 2 cables on here as well. These plug into a dedicated controller, which you can see right here. One significant drawback, this controller does not have a USB connection, which means you cannot operate these independently of the header that you plug it into. It does have several modes and has capabilities of changing the lights and the colors and things like that, but I kind of wish this had a USB header so that I could treat this just like the Unifans and be able to set independent colors on here. Now, one additional thing that really stands out about these cables is simply the fact that you can disassemble them just like the Unifans. Meaning, because of the orientation of the Radeon card that I have, these clips actually need to be on the bottom portion of the card. Means this, in order to look proper, needs to sit this way, which is the opposite way that Lian ships these cables. So you can actually pop the cones off. You can slide the RGB strips up from these black brackets, reconfigure, reorient them, put everything back together so that it is exactly the way you want it to be. Great job, Lian. So there we go. We have the streamer kits installed, the LED fans themselves in their proper position. Everything is getting ready for water cooling. Ugh. It's kind of a mess back here though. And I mean, look at all the that I still got to put back in. If only there was a solution that allowed me to replace these black cables that are standard length with something exactly what I needed. And I'm going to talk about exactly that in the next video.